Hello there. I'm Keo Saronin Beatmaker, and welcome to the Monday Mindset Podcast. And before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you're catching the replay, please leave a comment with your thoughts below. And on this episode, we're going to discuss we must distinguish humanity from evil. He must see the forces labeled evil as emanating from the suffering of people who, like himself, are human and in the process of attempting to perfect their beings. Dr. Leo. To only see the evil in the world is to only see pain in love. We, as essential realists, guide our lives through the art of living and must be mindful to distinguish the individual and their actions and words. Oftentimes, such actions and words are a reflection of how they feel about themselves. Such inflection can be coerced and manipulated by evil forces, which dare to domesticate such individuals in normalization of cruelty, in behavior of actions and words, tear them away from their individuality to suppress their soul and take hold of their mind within the parasitic hive. We must distinguish humanity from evil. It's getting hard to do that nowadays as the lines continue to blur. We are finding ourselves in unprecedented times. For as the attack on the individual is just as prevalent as the attack on being human. As they further and further continue to push upon us their transhumanistic agendas, forcibly indoctrinating us into manipulating and dissecting our own minds and bodies in the sake of filling their pockets from the pharmaceutical checks that will be cashed from such experimentations. And it's hard to tell nowadays exactly how many of these people who willfully engage in promoting, inflicting such evil upon us. Have they completely lost their humanity in exchange for wealth, security, and status? Or have they just been blinded by the propaganda and have found themselves within the hive mentality? I don't know sometimes. And other times I do know. And I think we are dealing with a crisis of humanity as Western society continues to erode and erase. And now we're seeing manipulate and change the ideology of what it means to have faith in a religion to suit their disgusting and insufferable machinations. And here we are struggling to just pay our bills, have enough food on the table, make the rent. Yet they wish to subjugate our minds and bodies to their pleasure. And we have to look around and try to distinguish who is human and who is the hive and who is just the evil. And the evil has done a remarkable job of making it impossible to distinguish. And perhaps that was the plan all along. Turn everyone into a honeypot. And maybe this is me being pessimistic, which I don't really want to be. I came in here feeling pretty good, pretty admirable. But I guess it's hard to really grasp the conflict that we are all experiencing right now. Because I mean, am I going to call the friends and family I have potentially have lost due to our disagreements on the last 3 4 years? Are they evil? I wouldn't say that they're evil. Would I say that they have been grasped into the hive mentality? Yeah, I would say some of them have. And others, you know, they were just mean. And it was cruel and unnecessary. But I wouldn't call them evil. I would say that, they drank the Kool-Aid and the Kool-Aid now has control. And you see many people like that. And I don't know, I can't call them necessarily evil because I mean, we can't call everyone who's in a cult evil. Many of them are have no sense of identity, no sense of purpose or meaning or being, no individuality. And I feel that is what you're seeing, and the last 3 years have completely destroyed what it means to be an individual. And it's almost as if the evil has made itself the inspirational idea of the individual that is necessary for the current machinations in time. You break everyone's spirit, you tear down their individuality, and you replace it with evil in sheep's clothing. And nowadays, with how well CGI and AI, the technology, it's becoming increasingly hard to distinguish the ghost within the evil machine. But I feel that at the same time, we are capable and able to distinguish and be able to sort out these complexities. Because I don't think that the to be the hero is not popular anymore. And what I mean by that is to be selfless and to be humble. It's not popular anymore. It's not aspiring. If you've noticed lately, the romanticization of the bad guy, the villain. And I think that that is something that is extremely prevalent. And you're seeing that now with everything that's kind of going on. This this reversal of what it means to be a good person and what it means to be a bad person. And to see people around us advocate, support um, the evil in the guise of security and oversight have pretty much supported the very thing that would take away what they hold dear. And I think that's what I've been trying to, I guess, understand about a lot of things that I've just been noticing. And trying to understand how people are the trying to understand this desire for evil. And I know it sounds weird saying that, but it's like you see that it's so prevalent. And I feel that this is part of the the manipulation is to convince people to desire evil acts and deeds and subjugation. And whether it's complicity or being compliant, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But I see those who are who I'm like, oh, you've completely drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're not coming back from this. You've already you drank away your individuality in exchange for the hive mentality. And I don't know, and I feel that some people it's they willingly do it. Other people pressure. Other people, I think, they didn't have anything else. And I think that's what was so sad about the last 3 years, about the whole pandemic and the lockdowns, is that it really broke and stripped people of their individuality, because you kept them inside. You kept them locked within themselves, and unable to experience and partake in certain therapies and vices that allow them to maintain their individuality. And then you put them inside, and you fill them, and you regurgitate, you know this propaganda, and this entitlement. You fill it so much that you have these people frothing at the mouth, desiring more. And it's truly bizarre. And and for me, it's, you know speaking with people, and hearing their points in view, and oftentimes wondering, where are they getting their knowledge from, where they're getting their information from. And sometimes, you can tell, okay, I see where you're getting your information from. And other times it's like you have completely, you've drinking the Kool-Aid so much so that it doesn't matter if it's a lie or not. It's all about how you feel. And I think it's incredible how this hive mentality, how these evil forces have completely taken our feelings and completely manipulate them to such an extent where everyone is questioning how they feel about everything, to such an extent that they're willing to do surgery on their own bodies. And this is where I keep trying to circle back as to, you know we must, how do we distinguish humanity from evil, especially nowadays, where the evil is popular and advocated for, and funded. How do we distinguish it? And it's like, and I don't know, maybe I'm the only one talking about that, trying to figure that out. How they've done such a damn good job of making it impossible to distinguish. So, we sit here, and we try to acknowledge and navigate the essential reality, surrounded by individuals who are consumed, and ingesting and regurgitating the false reality, to such an extent that they are becoming the very thing they sought to destroy, by their political, you know this political views, or their social views, what have you. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. Like, and I was watching. Oh, I can't recall her name right now, but shout out to Canon Hotep, because he put me onto her channel. And she was talking about what was going on in Chicago, and the teenage, marauders that were running around Chicago City. Literally teenage marauders. You literally had teenage raiders and marauders running amok. And in the video, she was trying to, like, what's going on in Chicago, and and in the video, there's, she had a clip of an individual, an older black man, talking about how the system has essentially taken the fathers out of the household, and it is, that is clearly a very, very obvious thing. There is documented data that that shows that if a child who is raised by their mother is, there's more chances of them ending up in jail, or committing crimes, or even um or even exiting themselves. So there's very apparent. But one thing that I found really interesting, and this is what I mean about the evil, and I found this really interesting, and it just kind of popped into my head. She was kind of talking about the destruction of the black family, and what's going on in Chicago, and when you looked at all those marauders in Chicago, they're all black teens. You know, that's pretty much what they were. Just a bunch of black teen marauders. You may say what I'm saying is offensive, but y'all saw the videos. um, and and one thing I found really interesting, right, was the the way she was kind of talking about how they've kind of planned the destruction of the black family, and it made me think about, okay, yeah, they've got it locked down how to destroy the black family, and I was like, well, then who's next? And it made me really start thinking. It made me start thinking about the white family, and you look around right now at what's going on in the white community, and some people might disagree with me on this, but I think it's actually very, very apparent. And this just kind of popped into my head. Maybe if anyone finds this speculation interesting, please leave a comment down below, and share your thoughts. This is at the 23 mark, somewhere around there. But okay. So, and this kind of ties into the whole evil that I'm talking about, distinguishing humanity from evil. So, we look at the 80s, you had the crack epidemic, and, in the 90s as well, you had the crime bill, and those pretty much destroyed the the black family. I mean, there are other things, but I'm kind of pointing to the most modern cases, and things that you can actually kind of really, really look at the data and really see the drastic change. In my opinion, this is just all my opinion and speculation. And so, you had the crack epidemic, you had the crime bill in the 80s and 90s, and that pretty much, destroyed the family, the black family unit, the household. You also have, the feminist movement as well that was pushed into the black community for the black women. And so there, boom, they have essentially destroyed the black community, and now you got, you know, black teen marauders in Chicago. Now, what about the white community? The white community, they have a very strong family unit. Um, and I know people can, if you want to debate me on it, leave your comments down below. And so I started thinking about, okay, so how are they going to um, destroy the white community? And I was like, well, it's happening right now. You had you had the pill epidemic of the early 2000s, and then you have the Antifa movement, and then you have the alphabet movement. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at, you know, the Antifa crew, it's predominantly white people. If you look at the alphabet crew, it's predominantly white people. Uh, and you have a lot of people in those communities, um, who come from, a lot of family units, a lot of white families. And we know about a lot of the origins of Antifa. We know about the funding. We know about all of that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to get into this. That's a lot of this I really should be saving it for Lounge Ronin, but it coincides with the distinguishing the evil here, because you know you look at a lot of these movements, and granted, some of them, there probably was some well intentional meanings behind them, but well, there wasn't behind selling crack, but you get what I mean in terms of right now with the white community and the white family. Looking at with Antifa, and looking at the alphabet community, and also looking at the feminist movement. You have these things that are also now hitting, and also the pill popping that destroyed a lot of white families. And a lot of rural white communities were using the pills. And then you add on top of that, in these liberal cities, the Antifa stuff. These people, they are completely against the family unit. They're commies. I know they don't think they are, but they are. But that's neither here or there. And then you have the alphabet community, and a lot of the people in that community. If you look at the protests, whether it's in Kansas or Tennessee, it's predominantly white people. Um, and yes, there are blacks and Latinos and Asians within that as well. But let's look at this from a scale perspective, because we know, and I'm someone who's Latino and Caribbean. They're not buying the Antifa stuff as much as people think they are. They're not buying the alphabet community stuff as much as people think they are. I can attest for that. And so I saw this, and I'm like, okay, so then this is probably how they would destroy the white community, or the white family, because the white family was really strong in the 80s and the 90s. But then boom, the pills, and then this whole Antifa, and becoming, this the liberal new world order, and the gender pushing stuff. It's you're seeing it destroy, and the feminist movement as well. You're seeing it destroy the family unit in the white community right now. I don't know how many videos or interviews I've seen of these young white girls who are doing OnlyFans, who have been completely disowned from their families, because the grandma or the aunt or mom found out about it. And so then you look at that entire family is now destroyed. Their reputation is destroyed. A family member now is pretty much excommunicated. Other family members are going to end up going to their grave knowing that their goddaughter, or their niece, is a prostitute, online prostitute. Let's call it what it is. So, and and this is what I mean, is like a lot of these evil machinations and manipulations. They were put in place for a specific reason, and you're and put in place for a long time ago. This has all been in the works. And I'm not trying to get conspiratorial here, because the Monday mindset isn't about that. But let's be honest here. We have to be mindful of the reality of the situation and the things that are going on and how it affects us and our communities and those that we love and hold dear to us. So that's kind of why I'm bringing these things up, because we have to understand the evil machinations, the evil forces at play, and how they use our own humanity against us. And that's really the main driving force of what I'm trying to say here. And I know it's hard. I'm not, I'm still learning. We're all still learning, and I'm still learning about all of this and still kind of processing it and trying to figure it out. But the reason why I wanted to bring that up is that so that we all kind of be mindful of the the actions and the machinations and what it means for us, the implications for our own humanity. Like I said, they're using our own humanity against us, and we have to fight back. We have to acknowledge and hold ourselves accountable for allowing it getting to get this far. And I'm not to and I want to also be clear here that I do not have anything against any of these communities. I don't have anything against the alphabet community. What I have against is the people within these communities and organizations and movements that are pushing ideology and agendas that completely go against what it means to be human from a moral and humanistic standpoint. And I'm complete and I'm sure many of you can read between the lines and understand exactly what I mean by that. We're adults, and everyone out there is smart enough and capable enough to understand exactly what I mean. And there's nothing to take out of context with my words. So I just wanted to make sure I clarify that. But I also want to make sure that we are aware of how they're trying to use our humanity against us, because they have foregone theirs. They have sold theirs away, and they want to take ours. They want us to give away our humanity in exchange for security, pleasure, subsistence, what have you. But I also know that people are waking up. People are slowly being able to distinguish the evil. So I do have hope. I am a positive person as best as I can be. I do have hope, and I know that we can overcome it. But it also takes us having to hold ourselves accountable and acknowledging the reality. And many of us are acknowledging the reality, but they're haphazardly doing it, or they're half-assing it, or they're only picking and choosing when to acknowledge the essential reality and then dig their head back into the false reality. And there's some people, I can't, I can't get mad at them. Many of these people, I'm not mad at them. I feel bad for a lot of people. I'm frustrated for many people, disappointed, but I don't hate anyone or have anything against anyone regarding, people who are inadvertently or, you know, aiding and abetting evil. It's hard nowadays. It's hard. I get it. And many of us were put in situations where we don't really have much of a choice. But I don't necessarily believe that all the time. I believe we always have a choice. It's how you go about making that choice, how you go about making those decisions. That's what matters most. And how are you able to trust your instincts and being able to distinguish the evil from the human? Because, like I said, many of our actions, many of the actions of our friends and family, a lot of people's stuff, it's a reflection of how they view themselves. And these evil forces know that so well that they have used that in a way of forcing people to push out one another. And but I think for those of us who are essential realists who see this, if we continue to speak up and stay positive and speak forward and maintain balance as best as we can, we'll be able to get other people to see with eyes unclouded by hate. We must remind ourselves that such machinations are a reflection of the domestication in dismantling their individuality. So we must move as the antidote to relieve them of the parasite that has taken hold. Remind ourselves that they are only human, that they are not the evil forces that dare to strip us of our humanity, for they have sold theirs generations ago, and losing their humanity in favor of the gods of chaos. They must continue to satisfy the hunger of evil, the parasite within. Its appetite never ceases, and humanity is breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper, and dessert. We must be able to distinguish ourselves from the evil and aid those in preventing themselves from becoming a meal that satisfies the evil upon this world. They are our brothers, our sisters, mothers, and fathers. They are human and should be treated as such. We must fight to preserve humanity and all its glory and pain from the evil with its puppets and followers. They are not human and should be treated as such. Degenerates, hydras, golems, and succubus. They are the crimes against humanity, and we are the warriors of light. We shall burn out this infectious hive from the very core of humanity. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Monday Mindset Rants. If you made it this far, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment with your thoughts below. And until next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.